Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, December 7th, 2020. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's NFL games, look ahead to tonight's games, college football, go over the weekend's games, college basketball, go over the weekend's games, look ahead to tonight's games. We'll talk about the first half of the NBA schedule that was released over the weekend, an update on the NHL, MLB winter meetings getting underway, virtual style, and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll talk NFL first. We will go over the slate from Sunday and then look ahead to the two games that are being played tonight. So without further ado, here we go. Saints over the Falcons 21-16. The Saints are 10-2, clinch a playoff spot. Falcons 4-8. Taysom Hill 27 of 37, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. Matt Ryan 19 of 39, 273 yards, and 1 touchdown. Lions over the Bears 34-30. This was an epic collapse by the Bears, who fall to 5-7. Detroit improves to 5-7. Their first win under interim coach Darrell Bevell. Matthew Stafford 27 of 42, 402 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Mitch Trubisky 26 of 34, 267 yards and a touchdown. Browns over the Titans 41-35. This was an absolute ass-kicking for the Browns, and then the Titans came back and made that game somewhat interesting. Cleveland 9-3, Tennessee 8-4. Baker Mayfield 25 of 33, 334 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill 29 of 45, 389 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Dolphins over the Bengals 19-7. The Dolphins 8-4, Cincinnati 2-9. Tua Tagovailoa 26 of 39, 296 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Allen 11 of 19, 153 yards, a touchdown, the pick. He was ruled out for the rest of the game. Then came in Ryan Finley, 6 of 7 for 40 yards and an interception. Vikings over the Jaguars, 27-20, and are 6-6, and the Jaguars are 1-11. Mike Glennon, 28 of 42, 280 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Kirk Cousins, 28 of 43, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. The Raiders defeat the Jets in a crazy finish, 31-28. Vegas is 7-5. The Jets are 0-12. Derek Carr, 28 of 47, 381 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick, including the game winner to Henry Ruggs for 46 yards with 5 seconds left. Sam Darnold, 14 of 23, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Colts over the Texans, 26-20. The Colts are 8-4. The Texans are 4-8. Phillip Rivers, 27 of 35, 285 yards and 2 touchdowns. Deshaun Watson, 26 of 38, 341 yards and an interception. To the second window, Rams over the Cardinals, 38-28. Rams 8-4, Cardinals 6-6. Jared Goff, 37 of 47, 351 yards and a touchdown. Kyler Murray, 21 of 39, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Packers over the Eagles, 30-16. Packers 9-3. Philly 3-8-1. Aaron Rodgers, 25 of 34, 295 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts coming in for the benched Carson Wentz, 5 of 12, 109 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And Wentz, 6 of 15 for 79 yards. Patriots destroy the Chargers, 45-0. Patriots 6-6, Chargers 3-9. Cam Newton didn't have to be great. 12 of 19, 69 yards and a touchdown. And on the ground, 14 carries and 48 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Jarrett Stidham came in at the end, 2 of 3, 61 yards and a touchdown pass. Justin Herbert looked like a rookie. The poor kid probably cost himself Rookie of the Year with this performance. 26 of 53, 209 yards and 2 interceptions. Giants upset the Seahawks 17-12 without Daniel Jones. They're 5-7 and in first place in the NFC East. The Seahawks are 8-4. Colt McCoy actually wasn't terrible. 13 of 22, 205 yards, a touchdown, the pick. Russell Wilson, meanwhile, disappointing because they lost. 27 of 43, 263 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Chiefs over the Broncos 26-16, or 22-16, my bad. Kansas City 11-1 and clinches a playoff spot. Denver 4-8. Patrick Mahomes 25 of 40, 318 yards and a touchdown. Drew Lock 15 of 28, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. 2 games tonight, both nationally televised. One's on Fox and the other is on ESPN. First up, 5 o'clock on Fox, you have the Washington professional football team at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is laying 6.5. The total is 43.5. And the number's at -114, meaning the juice on the Steelers. I'm going to lay with the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger is questionable for some reason. I guess that's why the number's so low. I think Roethlisberger is going to play. He's a tough guy. They need him to play. They have to clinch that 1 seed over the Chiefs, and I think they want to. So, give me the Steelers minus the 6.5. And, by the way, my projections for this game, I make the Steelers a 9-point favorite, total of 44. And let's say if Roethlisberger were not to play, I make the Steelers by 4. But I expect Roethlisberger to play, and I think the Steelers are going to go out there and play well. Their defense is awesome. I think that they can pick off Alex Smith a couple times, although I like Antonio Gibson, and I like Terry McLaurin, and J.D. McKissick too. But I'm sorry, Steelers defense is an animal. I think their defense can win this game by themselves. So give me the Steelers. I'm going to throw a score at you guys too, 27-16. I think that the Steelers put it away late on a field goal or a touchdown. I think Washington's competitive for a little bit, but I'm going to say that the Steelers with Roethlisberger in the lineup pull away late. And on Monday Night Football, you have the Bills and the 49ers. I project the Bills by 9.5, total of 50. Meanwhile, San Francisco's a 1-point favorite, and the total is 46.5. I love the Bills, plus the 1. Juice is on at -112. They're -106 on the money line. I don't get why the 49ers are favored. They probably think that this is a trap game for the Bills. But I really don't consider a game a trap game if you're an underdog. To me, if you're pick 'em or favored, we're likely favored, then pick 'em, then it's a trap game. But they probably think it's a trap game. And the Bills are looking ahead to the big game against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. I think this game's competitive, but the Bills are just better than the 49ers. Sorry. Josh Allen is better than Nate Mullins. The Bills' defense is not that good. I get it. But I think that Josh Allen in that offense is going to have a great game. The 49ers' pass rush really isn't that good without Nick Bosa. So give me the Bills plus the 1. They're going to win the game outright, -106 on the money line too. So I absolutely love the Bills. And by the way, Steelers -6.5 and the Bills plus 1 are the last 2 picks of the Fab 5 for the week. I teased that I was saving 2 picks for Monday. These are the 2 because the Steeler line was 7 on Friday, maybe 7.5. And then the Bill line was 1 or 1.5. So I'm like, oh, I'm saving these 2 for Monday, the 2 Fab 5 picks. So there you have it, my last 2 Fab 5 picks as well. And then tomorrow we'll obviously preview Ravens-Cowboys. Now we'll look ahead to college football. We'll look back on college football from the weekend. We will start with Friday night. Sunbelt, number 25, Louisiana over Appalachian State, 24-21. Louisiana 9-1, Appalachian State 7-3. App State tried to steal that game, but Louisiana held on, courtesy of a missed field goal. All right, Saturday, number 4, Ohio State over Michigan State, 52-12. What an ass whooping for Ohio State, who's now 5-0. Michigan's 2-4. Or Michigan State, my bad. Number 5, Texas A&M over Auburn, 31-20. I got backdoored late in this game. Auburn was playing well, but they fell apart. A&M's 5-1, Auburn's 5-4. TCU over number 15, Oklahoma State, 29-22. TCU 5-4, Oklahoma State 6-3. Number 17, North Carolina over Western Carolina, 49-9. North Carolina 7-3, Western Carolina's 0-3. Rice upsets number 21, Marshall 20-0. Rice 2-2, Marshall 7-1. This was one of the bigger upsets of the season. This takes Marshall out of contention for the Group of 5 New Year's 6 Bowl, in my opinion. This is just too bad of a loss, losing the Rice at home. Toledo over Northern Illinois, 41-24. Toledo 3-2, Northern Illinois 0-5. Texas Tech over Kansas, 16-13. Texas Tech 4-6, Kansas 0-9. Texas over Kansas State, 69-31. Texas 6-3, Kansas State 4-6. Nebraska over Purdue, 37-27. Nebraska 2-4, Purdue 2-4. Penn State over Rutgers, 23-7. Penn State 2-5, Rutgers 2-5. Tulane over Memphis, 35-21. Tulane 6-5, Memphis 6-3. Missouri over Arkansas, 50-48. Missouri 5-3, Arkansas 3-6. Troy over South Alabama, 29-0. Troy 5-5, USA 4-7. Akron over Bowling Green, 31-3. Akron 1-4, Bowling Green 0-5. Ball State over Central Michigan, 45-20. Ball State 4-1. Central Michigan 3-2. Eastern Michigan over Western Michigan, 53-42. Eastern Michigan 1-4. Western Michigan 4-1. Number 2 Notre Dame over Syracuse, 45-21. Notre Dame 10-0. Syracuse 1-10. Arkansas State over UL Monroe, 48-15. Arkansas State 4-7. UL Monroe 0-10. Number 6 Florida over Tennessee, 31-19. Florida 8-1. Tennessee 2-6. Number 9 Iowa State over West Virginia, 42-6. The lone pick of the Fab Five that I got correct. Iowa State 8-2. West Virginia 5-4. Number 12 Indiana over number 16 Wisconsin, 14-6. Indiana 6-1. Wisconsin 2-2. So Indiana gets it done without the quarterback. Number 19 Iowa over Illinois, 35-21. Iowa 5-2. Illinois 2-4. Number 24 Tulsa over Navy, 19-6. Tulsa 6-1. Navy 3-6. Virginia over Boston College, 43-32. Virginia 5-4. Boston College 6-5. Stanford upsets number 22 Washington, 31-26. Stanford 2-2. Washington 3-1. NC State over Georgia Tech, 23-13. NC State 8-3. Georgia Tech 3-6. Number 18, Coastal Carolina upsets number 13, BYU, 22-17. What a great win for Coastal Carolina. Their prove-it win. They're definitely going to be the New Year's 6 representative. They're 10-0. BYU's 9-1. San Jose State over Hawaii, 35-24. San Jose State 5-0. Hawaii 3-4. Georgia Southern over FAU, 20-3. Georgia Southern 7-4. FAU 5-2. Cal over number 23 Oregon, 21-17. Cal 1-3. Oregon 3-2. San Diego State over Colorado State, 29-17. Colorado State drops to 1-3. San Diego State improves to 4-3. Colorado over Arizona, 24-13. Colorado 4-0. Arizona 0-4. Number 3 Clemson over Virginia Tech, 45-10. Clemson 9-1. Virginia Tech 4-6. Kentucky over South Carolina, 41-18. Kentucky 4-6. South Carolina 2-8. Number 1 Alabama over LSU, 55-17. Alabama 9-0. LSU 3-5. Number 10 Miami over Duke, 48-0. Miami 8-1. Duke 2-8. Number 11 Oklahoma over Baylor, 27-14. Oklahoma 7-2. Baylor 2-6. Nevada over Fresno State, 37-26. Nevada 6-1. Fresno 3-2. New Mexico over Wyoming, 17-16. New Mexico 1-5. Wyoming 2-3. Utah over Oregon State, 30-24. Utah 1-2. Oregon State 2-3. And last but not least, UCLA over Arizona State, 25-18. UCLA 3-2. Arizona State 0-2. Alrighty, and then Sunday we had 2 games. Western Kentucky over Charlotte, 37-19. Western Kentucky 5-6. Charlotte 2-4. And number 20 USC over Washington State, 38-13. USC 4-0. Washington State 1-2. Now we'll go over college basketball from the weekend. We will start with Friday night. There's a ton of good results. Unfortunately, Baylor-Gonzaga did not happen. That was supposed to be the game of the weekend in college basketball, but it was unfortunately postponed due to COVID-19. All right, so Friday night. Maryland over St. Peter's 90-57. Stony Brook over Fairfield 72-69 in overtime. Number 8, Michigan State over Detroit Mercy 83-76. Number 9, Creighton over Kennesaw State 93-58. Tulsa over Texas Arlington 79-64. Cal Baptist over Southeastern Louisiana 83-66. Number 15, Virginia over Kent State 71-64 in overtime. Hartford over Central Connecticut State 80-65. Georgia State over Charlotte 76-65. Marquette over number 4 Wisconsin 65-65 or 67-65. Number 6 Duke over Bellarmine 76-54. Boise State over College of Idaho 86-49. UC Davis over William Jessup 95-62. Austin Peay over Carver 102-38. Northern Iowa over St. Ambrose 98-53. My bad, almost said 43. UTSA over Sul Ross 91-62. Georgia over Jacksonville 98-65. Purdue over Valparaiso 68-61. FIU over Jacksonville State 74-70. So best bet cashed for Friday. Texas Rio Grande over Our Lady 91-68. Toledo over Eastern Michigan 91-74. Sam Houston State over Dallas Christian 117-42. Stephen F. Austin over McNeese 86-76. Memphis over Central Arkansas 85-68. Miami over Stetson 82-60. South Dakota State over Bradley 88-84. Arkansas State over Crowley's Ridge 115-49. Mississippi State over North Texas 69-63. Number 17 Texas Tech over Troy 80-46. Number 21 Oregon over Seton Hall 83-70. San Fran over Cal Poly 88-60. Minnesota over North Dakota 76-67. Auburn over South Alabama 90-81. And Loyola Marymount over Long Beach State 85-61. Saturday. Mercer over Columbia International 88-62. Liberty over Bluefield 86-64. The Citadel over Toccoa Falls 158. Sacramento State over Idaho 73-57. Chattanooga over Northern Kentucky 79-72. George Washington over Coppin State 85-69. Delaware over Salem 79-76. Furman over Charleston 81-57. Arizona over Eastern Washington 70-67. Marist over Binghamton 68-65 in overtime. Ball State over UIC 68-66. VCU over Mount St. Mary 60-42. SMU over Dayton 66-64. High Point over North Florida 85-74. UNC Asheville over SC State 77-56. East Carolina over Radford 63-50. Southern Utah over Montana 75-74. Bryant over Rhode Island College 138-83. Omaha over SIU Edwardsville 65-63. Eastern Illinois over Green Bay 93-91 in double overtime. Air Force over Lamar 59-44. Texas State over Incarnate Word 72-64. Loyola Chicago over Lewis 76-48. Number 7 Kansas over North Dakota State 65-61. North Dakota State almost pulled off the upset actually. Iona over Hofstra 82-74. Wright State over Miami of Ohio 74-47. Dixie State over St. Catherine 86-48. Providence over Fairleigh Dickinson 79-67. Louisiana over LSU Shreveport 84-73. Northwestern over Chicago State 111-66. Arkansas over Lipscomb 86-50. Stanford over Belmont 96-83. Number 10 Houston over South Carolina 77-67. Robert Morris over Point Park 75-57. Murray State over Illinois State 76-65. Georgia Southern over SC Upstate 72-69. Pitt over Northern Illinois 89-59. Syracuse over Rider 87-52. Florida Gulf Coast over Florida International 91-74. Oklahoma State over Oakland 84-71. St. Louis over Arkansas Pine Bluff 107-54. UTEP over Sul Ross 84-65. Rice over Houston Baptist 86-64. Abilene Christian over Tarleton State 69-48. UNLV over Kansas State 68-58. BYU over Utah State 67-64. And Portland over Portland State 86-73. Yesterday's results. Western Carolina over Tennessee Tech, 76-75 in overtime. Number 12 Villanova over number 17 Texas, 68-64. Number 17 Texas Tech over Grambling, 81-40. Mercer over Southwesleyan, 96-85. Quinnipiac over New Hampshire, 64-58. Valparaiso over Judson College, 85-45. Ohio over Cleveland State, 101-46. Drexel over Coppin State, 69-54. Florida over Stetson, 86-40. Missouri over Wichita State, 72-62. Stanford over NC A&T, 78-46. St. John's over Stony Brook, 89-66. Yale Monroe over Northwestern State, 92-83 in overtime. Drake over St. Ambrose, 97-53. UC Riverside over Denver, 83-63. Little Rock over Central Arkansas, 86-83. Western Kentucky over Mississippi Valley State, 96-69. Xavier over Cincinnati, 77-69 to remain unbeaten. UAB over Troy, 77-55. Central Michigan over Western Illinois, 73. North Alabama over Carver, 107-40. Greensboro defeats Longwood, 67-64. Army over LaSalle, 63-59. Marist over Binghamton, 64-60. Michigan over UCF, 80-58. Wyoming over Oregon State, 76-73. Appalachian State over NC Wesleyan, 81-57. Texas A&M over Texas Rio Grande, 81-68. Oklahoma over TCU, 82-78. Number 11 West Virginia over Georgetown, 80-71. San Diego State over Pepperdine, 65-60. Georgia Tech upsets number 20 Kentucky, 79-62. Stephen F. Austin over LSU Alexandria, 97-79. Southern Illinois over Quincy, 102-61. Long Beach State over Seattle, 80-75. Number 8 Michigan State over Western Michigan, 79-61. Sam Houston State over Howard Payne, 117-54. Bellarmine over Howard, 84-63. LSU over Louisiana Tech, 86-55. Bowling Green over Buffalo, 86-78. Notre Dame over Detroit Mercy, 78-70. Seton Hall over Penn State, 98-92 in overtime. And UCLA over Cal, 76-56. All right. Tonight's slate is small relative to the last couple days. A lot of cancellations due to COVID, obviously. All right. 2 o'clock, you have Wofford and Richmond. I project Richmond as a 7-point favorite. By the way, they are ranked. They are 19th in the country. And they are unbeaten. So, they will obviously be ranked again come today. And actually, I'd make this line 7.5, not 7. Because I was off on a half point of Richmond's projection. I don't see a line for Wofford Richmond yet on either ESPN or FanDuel. I do expect Richmond to win. I think the game will be competitive because I don't think Wofford's that bad. George Washington against UMBC. I project UMBC by 14. Line's not up yet on either site. I expect UMBC to win because I think George Washington's one of the worst teams in the Atlantic 10, if not the worst team in the A10. Fairfield and Hartford's also in the 4 o'clock window. By the way, Wofford, Richmond's 2 o'clock. George Washington, UMBC's 4 o'clock as well as Fairfield. And Hartford, I project Hartford by a half. And Hartford's favored by 3.5. I'm going to take Fairfield plus the 3.5 at minus 104. I don't know if they will win the game outright, but I think that this game will be very close. UNC Wilmington and Eastern Carolina. I project UNC Wilmington by a half point. Meanwhile, East Carolina's favored by 9.5 with the juice on them at minus 115. I'm taking UNC Wilmington plus the 9.5 at minus 105. I love it. And I think Wilmington can win the game outright. They're plus 440 on the money line. Bethel, Tennessee, and Tennessee Martin canceled. LaGrange and App State canceled, by the way, the Wilmington, East Carolina games in the 5 o'clock window. 6 o'clock, you have NC Central and Coastal Carolina. I project this as a pick'em. Meanwhile, Coastal Carolina is giving 10.5. I'm taking NC Central plus the 10.5. Will they win the game outright? I don't know. They're plus 500 on the money line, so that would be an enticing underdog pick. So I'm going to take NC Central plus the 10.5 to keep that close. South Carolina State and Charlotte. I project Charlotte by 18. They're favored by 20.5. And the juice is on South Carolina State at minus 114. I'm going to take South Carolina State plus the 20.5. I have the 2.5 point edge on that, so I'm taking South Carolina State plus the 20.5. 7 o'clock, Eastern Washington at number 21, Oregon. This is a new game that was added on to the slate that's not posted yet. I project Oregon by 18. I think Oregon will go out and cruise to a victory. Adrian, Western Michigan, we can skip. Esteta, Cal State, Bakersfield, we can skip. FAU, North Florida. I project FAU by 2.5. Meanwhile, FAU is giving 3.5. So I have a little bit of value on North Florida, but it's only a point. So I'm going to switch to the total. I'm going to take over 141.5 at minus 114. A lot of juice on the over, but I like the over. I think both these teams can score, and I think this could be like a 75-72 type of ball game. Columbia International, the Citadel, we can skip. Hampton, Norfolk State, I project Norfolk by a whopping 25. Meanwhile, Norfolk's only favored by 8.5, so I'm going to lay the 8.5 with Norfolk State. And we're getting some value here because they're only minus 104 at that number. Morehead State and Eastern Kentucky, I project Eastern Kentucky by 12.5. They're favored by 12.5, so a correct number on the podcast, so I got to switch to the total at 145.5. Each side minus 110. I'm going to take the over. I think this is a higher scoring game. Chattanooga and Middle Tennessee. I project Chattanooga by 6.5. They're favored, they're 2.5 point underdogs, but at minus 118. So I'm taking Chattanooga plus the 2.5, and I'm taking them straight up at plus 116 to win the game straight up. Old Dominion James Madison canceled. 7:30 Lipscomb and Southeast Missouri State. I project Lipscomb by 12.5. They're giving only 4.5, so I'm going to lay the 4.5 with Lipscomb. 8 o'clock. Lewis and Bradley, we can skip. Loyola Marymount and UC Santa Barbara. I know Santa Barbara's already played a game. Let me change that projection really quickly. I didn't realize that Santa Barbara played a game. I just didn't have it in my notes, so I had to do number adjusting on the fly here. I project Santa Barbara as a 9.5 point favorite over Loyola Marymount. They're only giving 4.5, so I'm laying the 4.5 with UC Santa Barbara tonight against Loyola Marymount. And last but not least, at 9 o'clock, Northern Arizona at Arizona. I project Arizona by 38. They're only giving 21.5, and the juice is on them a little bit at minus 112, so I'm going to lay the 21.5 with Arizona. And New Mexico Cal Poly canceled due to COVID. So there you have it, short slate for college basketball tonight, and we will continue on with the podcast. Now we'll talk NBA first half schedule that came out over the weekend. So I'm going to now look it up now. All right, on opening night, you have a good one. 7 o'clock TNT, Golden State at Brooklyn. So Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving against the Warriors and Stephen Curry. That is a slam dunk, great game to open the season. And then you have the Lakers getting their rings against the Clippers. So that's going to be a ton of fun. The new and improved reigning champion Los Angeles Lakers against their in-building rival Clippers. Wednesday the 23rd, Hornets, Cavaliers, Knicks, Pacers, Heat, Magic. So the reigning Eastern Conference champs open at the Magic. Wizards 76ers, 7:30 TNT, Bucks Celtics. So you got Giannis at Boston. Pelicans Raptors, that was the opener last year. And that game went to overtime, if I'm not mistaken. Hawks Bulls, Thunder Rockets. So you got the Thunder against the Rockets. I almost said the Russell Westbrook Bowl. But no, Russell Westbrook's in D.C. now. So that is still the James Harden Bowl because he's still a member of the Rockets. The Spurs and the Grizzlies, the Pistons and the Timberwolves, the Kings at the Nuggets, the Jazz at the Blazers, and then you got the Mavericks at the Suns. So Luka Doncic and the Mavs at Chris Paul and the Suns. That is going to be a wonderful game on opening night. And on Christmas Day, we talked about it recently. You have 12 o'clock ESPN, Pelicans Heat. 2:30 ABC, Warriors Bucks. 5 o'clock ABC, Nets Celtics. 8 o'clock ESPN ABC simulcast, Mavericks Lakers. And 10:30 Clippers Nuggets. And then on the 26th, you have 10 games. NBA TV, Hawks Grizzlies, Thunder Hornets, Cavs Pistons, Magic Wizards, NBA TV 76ers Knicks, Pacers Bulls, Raptors Suns, Timberwolves Jazz, NBA TV Rockets Trailblazers, Suns Kings. And then Sunday the 27th you have on NBA TV Mavericks Clippers at 3:30, NBA TV at 7 o'clock, Nats Hornets, Magic Wizards, Spurs Pelicans, 76ers Cavs, Bucks Knicks, so Giannis at the Garden, Celtics Pacers, Warriors Bulls, Suns, Kings, and on NBA TV, the Timberwolves and the Lakers. And that's week 1 of the season. I'm just going to go through the rest of the notable games on national TV and stuff. So the 28th of December, NBA TV, Grizzlies Nets, so John Moran against Kevin Durant. And 10 o'clock on NBA TV, Blazers Lakers, so Dame against the Lakers and LeBron. December 29th, on TNT, you have the Bucks and the Heat, so you got a playoff rematch there. And then 10 o'clock on TNT, you have Zion and the Pelicans against Chris Paul, Devin Booker and the Suns. December 30th, the Wednesday night, NBA TV, 7:30 Bucks Heat. And then 10 o'clock NBA TV, Trailblazers Clippers. New Year's Eve, 6:30 NBA TV, 76ers Magic. And 9 o'clock, you have the Suns and the Jazz. All right, So, you got on New Year's Day, NBA TV, 8 o'clock, Lakers, Spurs, 10:30, Trailblazers, Warriors. January 2nd, you got NBA TV, 5 o'clock, Kings, Rockets, 7:30, Toronto, New Orleans. And January 3rd, NBA TV, Celtics, Pistons, and Wizards, Nets, and Trailblazers, Warriors. So a triple header on NBA TV on January 3rd. Right, week 3 notable games. None on NBA TV on the 4th. The 5th, 8 o'clock NBA TV, Lakers, Grizzlies. So you got John Moran against the Lakers and LeBron. And then 10:30, the Bulls at the Trailblazers. And then January 6th, the Wednesday, ESPN, 7:30, Celtics Heat to an Eastern Conference Finals rematch. And then 10 o'clock, ESPN, Clippers Warriors. All right, on TNT Thursday, January 7th, you have at 7:30 the 76ers at the Nets. That is a great game. So Doc Rivers against the Nets. And then 10 o'clock, you have the Mavericks at the Nuggets. So that's also a good game. Friday, January 8th, 7:30 ESPN, Hornets Pelicans. So LaMelo Ball against Zion Williamson. And at 10 o'clock, you have the Clippers and the Warriors. So Clippers Warriors twice on national TV. All right, Saturday on the 9th, 3 o'clock NBA TV, Nuggets 76ers. 7 o'clock NBA TV, Heat Wizards. And then Sunday the 10th, NBA TV, 3 o'clock Jazz Pistons. Miami and the Celtics again at 7 o'clock. These are probably going to be going up against NFL playoff games and ratings, unfortunately, for some of these games. And then week 4, no NBA, or no, we do got an NBA TV game on Monday, the 11th. You have the Pelicans at the Mavericks, 8:30. Tuesday, January 12th, you have NBA TV Lakers Rockets, so James Harden against LeBron. And then 10:30 NBA TV Pacers Warriors, so you got Oladipo against Curry. Wednesday, January 13th, 7:30 ESPN, Nets Knicks, so Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving making their MSG debuts as Brooklyn Nets. Too bad MSG probably won't have fans, or else they'd be booing the living hell out of Kevin Durant. And then against Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett and the Knicks. And at 10 o'clock, you have the Pelicans at the Clippers, so Zion against Kawhi and Paul George. January 14th, 7:30, Heat 76ers, and 10 o'clock, Warriors Nuggets. Friday, January 15th, ESPN Mavericks Bucks at 7:30, and 10 o'clock, Pelicans Lakers. January 16th is Saturday, 5 o'clock NBA TV, Rockets Spurs, 7:30 NBA TV, Hornets Raptors. Sunday, January 17th, 1 o'clock NBA TV, Knicks Celtics, 7 o'clock NBA TV, 76ers Thunder. 10 o'clock NBA TV, Pacers Clippers. Martin Luther King Day, 12 o'clock NBA TV, Magic Knicks, 2:30 NBA TV, Timberwolves Hawks, 5 o'clock TNT Suns Grizzlies, so the Grizzlies get their traditional Martin Luther King home game on TNT. 7:30 TNT Bucks Nets, so Giannis against Durant. 10 o'clock TNT Warriors Lakers. Tuesday, January 19th, NBA TV, 9 o'clock on Pelicans Jazz. January 20th on ESPN, 7 o'clock Celtics 76ers, and 9:30 Suns Rockets. Or TNT, January 21st, Lakers Bucks at 7:30, and 10 o'clock Pelicans Jazz. ESPN, January 22nd, 7:30 Celtics 76ers again, and 10 o'clock Nuggets Suns. Saturday, January 23rd, 5 o'clock NBA TV Warriors Jazz. 7:30 NBA TV Miami Nets. 3:30 NBA TV Sunday, January 24th, Raptors Pacers. And 7:30 NBA TV Hawks Bucks. We'll go through the rest of the schedule another day because we have a lot of other things to cover on today's show. Now we will talk the latest about the NHL. So, latest word from Pierre LeBrun on Twitter is that both sides had spoken both Saturday and Sunday. Still lots to do and a lot of moving pieces. Sources say once both sides come together on a package for the season, the NHL has to bring it to the BOG for consideration and the NHLPA to its executive board. Still some ground to cover still, according to Pierre LeBrun. It was reported on Saturday that both sides were going to be talking. So it looks more and more likely that we will have a season. It's a matter of when, not if. They're under a ton of pressure to do so since the NBA is already hitting the ground running in the preseason. If I'm not mistaken, is starting literally this weekend. And you're going to have games on TV and players making their preseason debuts for their new teams and all that. And there's a lot of subplots for the NBA thing, which we'll get to on another day's podcast. But yeah, it looks like that the NHL is moving in a closer direction to finally get this thing started and rolling. Pierre LeBrun is one of the better insiders that we have covering the NHL. Obviously, he works for TSN. You have Elliot Friedman. And you have a bunch of other solid reporters like Bob McKenzie, who pretty much retired, but he's still around, but he's just not a reporter anymore. So Pierre LeBrun and Elliot Friedman are the two to keep an eye on. And then Larry Brooks of the New York Post, covers the Rangers, has been in on this as well. So next update we have for hockey and chances it comes back. We'll update it on the podcast. My prediction is that hockey will begin around Martin Luther King Day and will finish around July, and it's going to be like a 50-game season with a bunch of back-to-backs and all that. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Now I want to quickly touch on the winter meetings, which is happening virtually starting today. It was supposed to be in Dallas this year, obviously canceled due to COVID-19. The latest rumors that you heard from the media over the weekend is that Zach Wheeler is available in a trade a year after the Phillies signed him to a lucrative contract, and it's because of financial problems. And then the Phillies came out and said that they are not even entertaining offers, let alone shopping Zach Wheeler. And we all know that this is lying season in Major League Baseball, so if Zach Wheeler's traded this week, don't be shocked. But yeah, Zach Wheeler is the latest name on the rumor mill. Teams that can use him, the first team I thought about is the New York Yankees. They could use a solid number 2 starter behind Garrett Cole. James Paxton's probably going to leave in free agency. They might bring back Masahiro Tanaka, but he's more of a number 3 at this point of his career. Zach Wheeler pitched well last year. I think he would do really well as the number 2 in the Yankee rotation, although he's overpaid. It takes some pressure off of him because of Garrett Cole. And he didn't have pressure on him last year because he was pitching behind Aaron Nola in that rotation. So he really thrives as the number 2 guy. And we saw that in his situation with the Mets. He thrived as the number 2 behind Jacob deGrom. And at times of the number 3 behind Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard. So I think that he'd be a great fit with the Yankees. Maybe the Mets could look to bring him back, ironically enough. I think the Red Sox, if they are serious about returning to contention, maybe they can pick up Zach Wheeler. So yeah, the hottest rumor coming out is that Zach Wheeler is available. Lance Lynn is another name that's available in trades. The Rangers hired Chris Young as their general manager, replacing John Daniels, who was a terrific general manager. We'll see what Chris Young does. Lance Lynn's available for a trade. I think the Rangers want a lot. He would be another great number 2 in somebody's rotation. And he's making good money. And it's funny because when they signed him to that contract, the media mocked the signing and thought it was terrible. It turns out that that was a signing that was very good by John Daniels. And it really worked out. And there's no pressure, really, and he really turned himself into like a Cy Young candidate while being with the Rangers. So he's available per trade as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if any moves happen in Major League Baseball over the next couple days. Obviously, if there's any moves that happen, we'll recap them all on the podcast. I did my off-season predictions, I believe, 2 weeks ago on the podcast. So if you want to listen to them, go right ahead. Last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I'm taking the Bills plus the 1 against the 49ers. I know it might come back to bite me in the ass, and it could be a trap game for the Bills, but where's Jimmy Garoppolo? Where's George Kittle? Where's Nick Bosa? They're nowhere to be found. Raheem Mostert's back. That's good. He'll help their running game. But the 49ers defense, to me, has not been very good without Nick Bosa, especially against good offenses like Josh Allen and the Bills. So give me the Bills plus the 1. I think the Bills win. I think it's a competitive game. Don't get me wrong. I think Kyle Shanahan will get them ready. And the 49ers have been very feast or famine this year. So give me the Bills plus 1 at San Francisco for my best bet of the day. That's it for the show. We'll be back tomorrow recapping the Monday Night Football games and looking ahead to tomorrow's Ravens-Cowboys game from Baltimore. And we will go over the college basketball slate from today and look ahead to tomorrow. Any other baseball and hockey news I'll bring to you on the podcast. We'll go over some of the rest of the NBA schedule as well. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, everyone.